Your destination is on the left.
Great to meet you, sir.
Great to meet you.
Fantastic shirt.
Thank you.
Love it.
Thank you. More like, I'm old, man. Hey, I love what you're doing.
Thank you so much. Appreciate that.
William the Lost told me all about it.
We're shooting a little intro right now.
Cool.
What do you think? I love it. I love it. Thank you for showing up. We're going to sit down and have a chat with this guy and get to know him better. Here's Corin. Live on the camera. Woo. And schwitzing as usual. Always schwitzing around here. Always schwitzing. How are you, sir?
I'm moderately neato.
I'm Corin Nimick.
Michael DiStefano.
Oh, I thought your name was Moderately Neato.
It can
That'd be a cool one.
It can be. I'm also known as Gwydion.
Gwydion?
SCA, SCA.org for those that don't know
Oh,
about
cool.
the
SCA.org?
Society, the Society for Creative Anachronism, which you've interviewed Bill Morgan, somebody that I know as William the Lost. That's a long story as well. So he gave me a call and heard what you're doing, and incredible. Thank you.
Yeah, it's my
Thank you
pleasure.
for your
It's
work
my
and-
pleasure too.
And the support staff, since I'm a tech.
And should I call? What should I call
Michael.
you? Michael's fine. Okay, cool.
Hey,
Not
you.
Mike or Mikey or
Where's that
M
$5
Dog.
Where's that $5 you owe me? I'll
Yeah,
answer all
that'll be
those.
later. I like to start things out simple. First of all, everybody, meet Michael. Michael, meet everybody. They're on the other side of that thing
Yep.
somewhere.
Yep.
Where were you born?
Springfield, Missouri, right here in Springfield. Grew up here. Found a girl out of Republic, Missouri. Married her. And 38 years of ruptural bliss. And having an absolute blast. It's been a roller coaster ride. But we're best friends, and we do everything together, and we look for excuses to get around each other.
Yeah.
We're the sick couple, you know, and you want to. We're looking to get away. Yeah. See ya.
Well, so you're born and raised here in Springfield,
Yeah.
and did you live in any other states or any other cities, or?
Yeah. Well, I grew up here, and basically went through what everybody goes through in school. You know, you're bullied, you know, and so on like that. And I want everybody out there to know that if you're going through that right now, let it go. It's not important. When school ends, all that crap ends.
True.
Let it go. You know, I was one of the bigger kids. I didn't fight. It's not that I couldn't. I didn't. I was raised in a fairly religious family, but was also taught to respect, you know, the elders and police and so on, and to just kind of let everything else go, turn the other cheek. My parents divorced, so I was raised by a single mother.
Same here. Yeah.
She's
Welcome to the club.
Yeah.
The
and
single mother club.
That's right. We were going in and out of mom, my sister, and I together. My sister's 2 years older than me, not my mom. And
I hope not. That would be
that'd be
difficult to
weird.
process.
And go between that and her parents' house. So sometimes we'd live with them, sometimes not. You know, and everybody goes through some sort of abuse. Everybody has some sort of things that happen to them and so on. And it's just how you deal with it and get on with it. And when I'd see my father, sometimes during the summer, he would send me down the street to a friend of his that was a Navy SEAL. He taught me some martial arts. He taught me how to just stay centered, stay focused, stay calm. And I highly recommend martial arts for that reason in a lot of ways to people. But like I say, understand that all that stuff, all the bullying and everything else goes. It goes by the wayside. It's not worth your life. It's not worth your time, your trouble. Let those people go. Be with friends. Make positive memories, because when school ends, that crap ends.
You know, I'm curious, because you said your father sent you down the street to a Navy SEAL's house, which...
While he was working.
Yeah, no, of course. But do you think that because you were taught by someone who wasn't related to you, you know, he kind of has a mentorship, do you think that you took the lessons he was teaching you more seriously?
I honestly believe that I was a little more receptive.
Yeah.
what you're saying is perfect. Yeah, I was a little more receptive to that. The once I came back and my wife and I got married, we worked here. Then when we moved to California, had a 5-year plan with her parents. Built a manufacturing plant.
Really? For what?
Manufacturing bottles and doing screen printing for all the beauty products.
Wow.
Yeah, it was pretty wicked. The 5-year plan that we had, the 5-year plan was just to do that and sell it, take the money and run back here, which is what we did.
Right. Smart move. So it was a successful 5-year plan?
It was. They came back, her parents came back earlier, and we moved the business and sold it with another company and built that and so on like that, and did some moving around and juggling and met a lot of great people. And,
wow.
And learned that people of other nations and other countries and other cultures don't have a problem with intelligence. It's a communications problem. And people, so we learned Spanish out there and so on like that, and we made a lot of friends, and we miss a lot of people out there. And if anybody sees it, sees this, it's like, guys, we miss you, we love you, and so on. But so we did that, then we came back here, and we've lived in different places since then. My wife works for a insurance corporation. I started working for myself in real estate, as well as having a trucking company. Okay. Taking cabin chassis and getting boxes put on them and bringing them back, something simple. Then I got into video security, which just fell into my lap, and I worked for a lot of companies. And I learned that there's a lot of people, there's a lot of owners, there's a lot of companies that are meat grinders.
Oh yeah. They
use you up. If you're in that situation, just learn from it. I did. I learned from every company I worked for, and it turned out that every company was the same. Every city's the same. Every situation's the same. You take your problems with you, but you still have that jerk that's trying to put you down. You still have that owner that's trying to keep you in fear of your job. Don't be in fear of your job, because there's a lot of jobs out there.
Yeah.
There's more things you can do. You get beat up, you get beat down. I finally started my own corporation, my own company, my own video security company. I saw what they did wrong, what the world needed.
And that's the company you have now?
I actually, well, I'm old and broken. You're still in great shape. You know, you got.
I would beg to differ, but I'll take your word for it.
I'm 61. I'm basically old and broken, but I'm not useless. Left knee replaced twice, both times poorly. Back fusion surgery, real problems there. Heart failure, which is genetic. My sister had it 5 years later. Thank you, Lord, that I had it first, because I could show her what was going to happen.
Right.
Help her out, and so on like that. So I could exercise my heart back up. She still had to have the pacemaker put in, but you know, I'm doing a little better. But anyway, so I started my company because I saw what everybody else was doing wrong, or where they weren't serving the needs. Look at what you're doing, and if you're in a situation, look at what you're doing and see where you can serve the needs of others. And have fun doing it. My God, do what you love. I mean, you've been doing that, and thank you for your work and pleasure. Everything that you've given us. I mean, all the pleasure, because we'll still watch your stuff. You know,
nice,
you're immortalized because you're already there. The rest of us, it's important that we work. It's important that everybody does what they can, because it all matters. Everything matters, from a ditch digger to a corporate owner.
Right.
Everything matters. But I started my own company, and I ended up putting all the video cameras in the Springfield schools. So none of the local companies got them. I went nationwide and did law enforcement, did Target stores for a company, which was a lot of fun. Did VA medical centers. I did a lot of sneaky pants stuff, which is the fun part. You know, sting operation.
Sorry, we got a truck over here that is, it should be gone here in a second, but if we can speak up a little louder while they're doing it. Sorry for the construction, folks. You know, this is Love America Tour. We are busy. You know, I like to go back and get into a little bit of what life was like for you growing up, because I'm always interested in how people overcame their dispositions, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Like, for instance, you know, I grew up in what I call the upper lower economic strata.
Mm-hmm.
So I was in the low economic strata, but we were just right there, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Just surfing that fine line of flat broke and just enough money to make it, you know what I mean?
That's kind of where we were. Welcome to the club.
Exactly.
And because that's why we would leave for about a year, sometimes 2 with my mom, but then she couldn't make it on her own and support 2 kids and the house and everything else. We'd move back in with the grandparents. So basically, you did what you were told, I was just grateful with the sister that's 2 years older. I didn't have to wear hand-me-downs, because how embarrassing to wear the same dress as another girl.
Yeah.
How embarrassing would that have been? But so when I went to college, when I was 18, you get kicked out of the house. Okay,
Right.
You're an adult now. See ya. Hope you planned. So I tried to work 40 hours a week and go to college, and that was a major failure.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot on your plate. You know, I am curious. So with that bouncing back and forth between, you know, grandparents, home, did you stay in the same school district for the most part, or did you bounce around?
We did stay in the same school district.
That helps a little.
That does help. That way you keep the same bullies.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to shrug off one bully for another.
And so
you want to really nurture and massage that bully.
You do, and now those same bullies are some of the nicest people you want to meet. You know, and they have families and they're going through the same situation. But no, growing up, I worked, and in the household I was in, when you worked and you brought money in, you gave money to the house.
Right.
You know, that's what you did.
Yeah.
And then you had your house chores and stuff. So I learned working, you know, then, and then I left and tried to live on my own. I couldn't do that, so I went in with a friend, and we lived together. He and I, and so on, and until I worked and got things put together. Well,
that's important too, though. I think that a lot of us tend to kind of be on our own island and want to do everything ourselves. And you know, I found myself when I got divorced a number of years back, was not able to afford my own place in Los Angeles, as well as keeping, you know, a place in Texas.
Yeah.
And a buddy of mine who's in the same age range was in a 2-bedroom, 1-bath apartment, and he had one room that was his office, but he switched the office to his living room. Was like, dude, just move in here. So we're like, you know, we're like fresh out of high school roommates, but we're in our freaking 40s, and we're living together, and we would laugh at it sometimes. But you know what? It afforded us a better lifestyle. It afforded us some extra money in our pockets, and the ability to survive that much better. So, you know, I don't think there's anything wrong with a village people type of attitude to come together and help each other out, even if you end up in a temporary situation where you're living with a buddy as an adult. That's
a springboard.
Yeah.
It's a springboard. People go through problems and divorce and addiction and issues and stuff, and you need to rely on more than just yourself.
Well, I want to go back to your childhood too, real quick, because it seems like you had what some would consider a relatively unstable, you know, childhood in terms of the moving around and all of this, and I'm not sure if you had, you know, because we don't have to get into all details on that, but I'm not sure if the parenting was solid or if it was a little wonky, or, you know.
Well, here's my mom. Here's my mom stuck between being a parent and a child of her parents. So she would always defer to her parents because they knew how to raise her. So of course they know, and she was left to believe that she had no clue.
Yeah.
I would ask my grandfather advice, and he would say, "Go ask your grandmother." So the woman ruled the roost. He was the punisher. And, you know, so with razor straps or belts or whatever was handy. Of course, you know those yellow, I can't remember the name of those bushes that have the yellow flowers on them.
Oh, honeysuckle?
Might be honeysuckle, or I can't remember the name, but switch bushes.
Yes,
I will
I got
never
a couple
ever
of
own a
those.
switch bush when you
Yeah.
have to snap and peel the flowers off of that thing, walking into the house, doing it. Yeah.
Oh.
There was a lot of anger in my grandparents, especially my grandfather. There was a lot of anger because he had kids in his retirement, in his home.
Right.
He had to put up with all this. There was a ton of anger, and
Well, do you think that was that anger something that stemmed from just a hard life all the way through, or did he?
I think it was because he was retired. As I think on it now, at the time, all I knew was when I'd be out raking, he'd come out and he'd kick me in the ass down to the ground, and yell at me a little bit, maybe take his belt off and strap me a little bit and set me back to work, and all that's all I knew as a kid. As I learned later, it's like when he got retired, he thought it would just be him and Grandma. Well, here's these kids that come in, and now everything's about them. And it's interrupted his life. And
yeah,
so
I find. I mean, it's a tough one there because, in all honesty, he's a grown man. He could have just said no. We're not going to take the kids. You figure it out. They're your kids,
Yeah.
and he could have gone on with his retirement instead of saying, "Fine, but while they're here, I'm going to make their life a living hell for it."
Yeah.
If they're going to interrupt my life, I'm going to.
Yeah.
That's a really. I mean, what was that like? I know it's all you knew, but when you would get away from him back to your mom or whoever else, was there a relief in getting out of that?
Absolutely. I mean, it was great relief for me and my sister. I mean, girls always get abused in a different way, and it's harder on them as well. She got married when she was 16 to get the hell out of the house.
Wow.
Just to get out. That marriage, failed, but that's
Sure,
another
but he
story.
got her out.
Got her
Yeah.
out.
We'll just talk a little louder while he does his moving. He's just going to move some stuff, and then he'll be gone again, and it'll be
Ladies
quiet
and gentlemen,
again.
for the next few minutes, we'll be using our radio voice.
Exactly. Perform for the back row.
That's right. So, please step closer to the television or computer, whatever you're using. As time went on, there came a breaking point in my life. I was 14, and I remember that I can't remember what it was I was doing at the time. I had been out late. And with my friends over at Springfield Lake, and the worst thing we would do is get an 8-pack of Miller ponies, the little Miller ponies.
Right.
Go to Springfield Lake and fish off the cliff where you're not supposed to be, and crank catfish all the way up, and then see how far we could throw them. Drinking an 8-pack between 4 friends is not a lot of beer.
That's not a lot of beer.
But it's all you could afford, because if you gave somebody money, they would keep the change and go, "Here's your beer. See ya."
Exactly.
So when I was 14, I came home. He was down in my room. We'd built me a basement room, and they would throw meat to me once a week, down in the basement.
Right.
But
No, I understand the analogy.
So he was in there, and when I went in from being out late, he told me to drop my pants. He had his belt off and said he was going to give me a strapping. I stood in the doorway, and I looked at him straight in the eye, and I said, "Never again. You will never, ever hit me again without me hitting back." And that was one of the things that was taught to me, was never take a shot without returning it. In the past, I'd always taken the shot and left it and learned from it, learned how to defend, but this was the point of no return for me. And he stood there, and I stood in the doorway, heart pounding, adrenaline running, thinking of all these things. What if he does this? What am I going to do? How am I going to do it? How am I going to defend? How am I going to retaliate? What's going to happen? Are we going to get kicked out, me and Mom and Sis? I've been protecting this too. He put his belt back on, and he said, "All right, things will never be the same between us. And I said, I hope they're not. And he walked, and I stood my ground and made him
Squeeze
past me. And after that, we had a great relationship.
Really?
Yes. After that, apparently I was an adult. And we had a great relationship.
How bizarre is that? What a weird turn of events.
So
For someone to switch on a dime like that, to go from this, I would say abusive figure to suddenly, oh, we're all good, man. Everything's cool. Welcome to the club. You survived the initiation.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, what was that like? I mean, did you have trust issues with him for a while, or?
I did not.
Interesting.
From then on, it was, why don't you sit down and watch baseball with me? And
did you forgive him?
I didn't think about it.
Okay.
I had been going to church and was saved at 10 years old. And
what was that experience like before we go past it? That's pretty dramatic.
At 10, I'd been raised in a primitive Baptist church that's still going here, Zion Primitive Baptist Church here in Springfield. Little church, hard shell, foot washing, fire and brimstone from the pulpit. My great-grandfather helped build the church. Here's these hard wooden benches you're sitting on and stuff, and lights a fire in you, and it's an hour's worth of preaching, half an hour singing, an hour's worth of preaching, shake every hand in the place, have lunch, go home, cups full. So at 10, I had felt a spiritual calling and got baptized, and that kind of changed my attitude, and that was part of the calming process in me, not just with what went on with Dan at 10 years old. And I had always been lucid, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Being body aware and knowing things around me and knowing that, okay, this stuff's going to pass. Things are going to get better. Things matter. Everybody matters. You're important. These sort of things have always been in me. Some say it's an old soul. You're just cool. There's a cool soul. There's an old soul. Next time I want to be cool. But
you are very cool to me, my friend.
But that helped me. That helped keep me calm. But
I'm just touching on that again, because at that age, at 10 years old, I mean, I feel like what I'm trying to find, if it's there, is a memory of an exact moment, or close to an exact moment, or a series of moments that at that young of an age, you had an aha moment about spirituality and a spiritual life for yourself. I mean, is there a recollection of an actual moment? Like, did somebody say something? Did you witness something? Was there?
It was, there was a preacher, Brother Hugh Sears, who last year turned 100 years old, or year before last turned 100 years old, and last year passed away. He was a big influence on my life, and his words and his preaching touched me. And it was to the point where he just said, when you turn your life over to God, when you give yourself to Jesus, Jesus works through your hands. He's in your heart. He calms you. He helps you. God protects you. Jesus saves you. Jesus gives you a way to talk to God. He gives you a way to petition him, to burden him with your sins, because you've been washed clean. And you're now righteous to go to heaven through Jesus. And he said, so you're good. He said, you need to understand that once you're baptized, that's not the saving grace there. That's just a proclamation that you're telling everybody.
Yes.
I understand now. I understand this, and I agree with it. I want to show everybody.
Oh, well, now, so here's what I'm curious about then is that having had this kind of awakening at such a young age, was that faith challenged in the face of the wrongs of the world?
Every single day. Every day. I could not understand why people weren't nicer, kinder, more respectful, didn't get it Even when I got married, it was beyond my wife and I. Don't you people get it? You know, couples together work going in the same direction, people going in the same direction, companies going in the same direction. A lot of hands make for little work. And it all works out so easy. There's so many couples that hate each other, and the second the kids are gone, they got nothing in common. When we're looking for excuses to get around each other. Because we like each other, we do stuff. We understand each other needs their own space. It doesn't mean I don't love you. It means I need my own space right now, you know, and clear my head or be out with some friends or whatever. And so on. But at that age, it was an epiphany that came to me. And then I saw how it helped because I was protected from things. There was a truck that came up in a time, this was in the 70s. Mm-hmm. I'm really old. In the 70s when kids were getting abducted all the time and so on like this, and there was a truck that came up.
The Satanic Panic.
Yeah, there was a truck that came up with a couple
80s,
a couple of guys in the truck, and they were wanting to ask me, a kid walking home from school, directions. Kept saying, "Come here, come here, come here. You know, we need to ask you some directions," so on like that. And something inside said, "No, run."
I had, you know, it's crazy. Me and my friend Ron T. Roy in first grade, walking to school, had the exact same experience in Arkansas, outside of Little Rock. Car pulls up. It was a regular four-door kind of sedan. Dude tried to say, "Oh, your mom told us to come down here and grab you and bring you back home, back to the apartments." Yeah. And I was like, I've never seen these guys. And me and Ron looked at each other and we were like, no. And what's strange is that just the week before, they had done one of those, everybody in the school has to watch these movies, safety tip movies. You know, how, be careful getting on the bus when it's snowing outside. You might slip under the tire or all these weird things. Yeah. But they had in that this stranger danger segment, you know, and then sure enough, a week later, there we are standing there. I'm like, bro, if we had gone 6 feet closer, that dude could have grabbed either one of us. And we took off running, and we hid underneath this bridge for an hour and a half, just terrified, afraid they were still up there. Yeah. Finally went to school. We get to school, nobody believed us. No one believed us. They thought we were just ditching, making up an excuse because they had just shown that video the week before. Yeah. Not a soul believed us but our parents. And I
believe you.
And so, you know, it's wild because I don't think that that people realize just how often this kind of thing happens. How many kids go missing every year in America is startling. It's in the tens of thousands to hundreds of thousands.
And now, and now they're doing it on the internet, and there are predators everywhere. It'd be a different world for me. First off, I wouldn't want to be single right now. That would be scary. But but to be a kid right now is also challenging. I mean, I see the challenges.
Going back to that moment, you know, because I want to stay on track with the through line we're on is because I didn't mean to interrupt you, but when that moment happened, was there a psychological shift in you that caused you to perceive life very differently after that? I mean, almost being abducted. It's a terrifying thing.
Yeah, it was. It made me more cautious of my surroundings and some of the instruction from martial arts. It got me more interested in martial arts at that point. And then I thought about my sister. Okay, now I have to protect her from this sort of stuff. So yeah, it changed my mindset. That was not the only time it happened. And the north side of the tracks in Springfield was the bad area, and we started out living on the north side. Yeah. And then moved to the south side when I was 10. And so there was a good and bad side of the tracks as far as society was concerned. I didn't see it that way because basically I still like everybody. Yeah. You got to prove you're a jerk.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, for me not to like you. My first best friend was Rodney Haley. Rodney Haley, if you're out there, I still remember you and miss you. He was a black kid, and it was not cool in the 60s, you know, to have a black friend. Yeah. And we would go to the YMCA together, and it was unacceptable. We'd do everything. We'd play pool, we'd swim, we'd play basketball and so on like that. We didn't care. We didn't see color.
Right.
I still have a hard time seeing color.
I don't see it.
I see the heart. I see the person.
Exactly.
I've met people from all walks of life. I worked with Joichi Harada in martial arts when him and Caesar were fighting, you know, internationally and so on, and have met so many incredible, wonderful people. Color doesn't matter.
No, it doesn't, and it's really a shame that so much attention is, I think, is kind of put on that kind of branding in the media versus a unifying kind of an opposing side of that is, look, let's get all together, let's all come together, let's realize that we're all human life forms on this planet going through struggles and trials and tribulations, and coming together we can all help each other out to keep the train on the tracks and keep everything going.
Now I came from a family that doesn't think that way.
Right.
How I turned out this way, I don't know. I call it a spiritual awakening in how I am different, because my family was bigoted.
Yeah.
My sister was at the time as well. She grew out of it. But the reason we moved when I was 10 years old was they did not want my sister going to Central High School, which was basically an all-black high school.
Yeah.
So they moved us to the south side, where we went to a south side school, because my mom and grandparents were deathly afraid of that environment.
Right.
And of black people and everything. And some of the things that would come out of my mom's mouth, you know, some of the bigoted stuff, it hurt. I don't know why it did. It just felt wrong from as a kid.
Absolutely, without a doubt.
And so on. So that's what changed me. And as I grew older, it stayed with me, and basically just kind of lived my life, waking up and saying, placing where I'm needed most today. You know, amen. There was a lot of years that I didn't listen to the answer, even though I would say those words. I didn't listen to the answer.
Yeah.
And put myself in a lot of bad situations, but was helped out of them, or got out of them. After the second knee surgery, I was on Oxycontin and got hooked.
Yeah.
Ugly stuff. Had an hour of lucidity a day. When my wife came with another bottle, I said, no, I don't want it anymore. Take it away. And I've never had my body talk to me before.
Right, right.
Just take one pill. I'll make the pain go away. If you don't, I'm going to make it worse.
Right.
Take a half a pill. Lick the pill. Do something. And I'll make the pain go away. Just don't give me up. Don't give me up. Come on. I'm making your life better. Look, you're sleeping. You know,
right.
You're happy. You're not in pain. That was the worst 5 days of my life. I have such respect for anybody that kicks any habit of any sort. I don't care what it is. I've got respect for you. And if you're trying to kick a habit, God bless you and keep going. You can do it. Look for help. Look for support. Look for people. Look for friends. Find people that think like you do and have the same interests. It's like Bill Morgan, William LaLosse, as I know him, in the SCA, Society of Creative Anachronism. Got into that, and there are so many people from all walks of life. This is the great thing about it. All colors, all nationalities, different walks of life, everybody moving in the same direction. Love, honor, and respect. LHR, love, honor, respect. And that made a huge impact on me. When life slowed down and everybody was
Recording again.
Says you got 33 minutes.
That's plenty.
rolling.
Okay.
We're rolling.
So, sorry about the interruption there. Ran out of memory space and had to delete some things and restart. But we were at Love, Honor, and Respect.
Yeah. I had to delete some things and so on as well. So, you know, we're just to have more memory space. Love, honor, and respect. It's a mantra that I've lived by. It's a mantra that I work with other people, and something that I encourage everyone to do. LHR. Sign off. LHR. I've got a friend that signs off CYA, as in see ya and cover your ass. I think that's brilliant. I like LHR better. The fact that everybody, like I say, is moving in the same direction from all these different incomes. I mean, from homeless to people that are working at high-end
Yeah.
tech jobs for the government
Yeah.
and so on. We're all doing the same thing. And like I said, people teach you. I won a 4-state competition with a longbow, shooting straight off my hand.
Wow, that's crazy.
No sights or anything. It took 5 years to do it. For 4 years, I got second, and I'd show up. How you feel, Gwydion? I feel like second. So you just have fun with the adversities in your life, but you meet a lot of people that have so much different information that you get to glean from and learn from.
Yeah.
I apologize for the language, but my father told me, he said, you're a little bit of everyone you meet. So meet as many people as possible. If you're lucky, you can water down the assholes that come into your life. So, you know, it's that sort of wisdom from my father that came down and all, but...
You know, on that note, because and I know we're running not really short on time, but running short on memory space. But what I would like to find out, or maybe you could share with the folks here, you know, having gone through the difficulties of you know, a broken home, abuse from a family member, bullying at school. You know, what advice could you give to those who have experienced something similar and maybe are having a hard time now, even still, trying to get ahead?
I remember, like it was today, the fear, the trepidation, the confusion of everything that I went through in high school. I was dating one of the most beautiful girls in high school. I got in trouble for kissing in the hallways because we would do that, you know, in between the classes.
Right.
I got taken to the vice principal's office for that, and I said, "Would you rather I fought?" Because there's a bunch of guys that are bullies.
Yeah.
You know, that I've been putting up with for years, and his answer to that was, "That's a character builder."
It's a character builder.
No, it ain't. So, you know, but still I was bullied, called a faggot because I wouldn't fight. You know, I was football, track, wrestling, all this other stuff, but was still called names and still, you know, pushed around and stuff and put up with it. And like I say, it's not that I couldn't fight, I didn't fight. There's people out there that got pushed into lockers that couldn't fight. And it hurt. That's one of the reasons that I love putting cameras in all the schools.
Yeah.
Stop this. Yeah, and the bully bill that went through. If you're going through it right now, first off, I am sorry. I feel your pain. I feel what I went through right now. I could have been on screen easy because I can bring up some of these things and some of the days where the only thing I had to eat when I was on my own was peanut butter, jelly, and a loaf of bread, and the bread goes first and the jelly's gone, and you eat a spoonful of peanut butter in the morning, you work, you come home, you have a spoonful of peanut butter before you go to bed. Whew. So I've had times like that. That's why I love to cook now. I want to make sure everybody's fed and watered. What you're going through right now will pass. If you're in school, if you're being bullied in school, if there's people that are writing you, don't let it hit your core. Don't let it hit who you are. You matter. You are important. Everything about you matters. I need you here. Everyone needs you here on this earth. I need you here because everyone has a job to do. Everyone has someone to find and love. Everyone, you know, even if you're on your own and you've had trouble finding that one person, there are still things you can do to make a difference in your world and make a difference in someone else's world. If it's too hard to live inside yourself, help someone else. It will help you and it'll make you a friend. the things I went through were not fun. They weren't pleasant. They do scar you. Everyone says scars heal. Well, it does. It leaves marks. Girls, I learned, are incredibly cruel to other girls, more so than the physical violence guys put up with.
Sure.
I didn't know that. Some of the things that they call a girl and talk about them and the physical attributes and aspects that the nail on the girls destroys them from the inside, that they can't get rid of. At one time, I had a beautiful body. I showed it. And it got to a point where that was my escape outside of high school. That was my escape, was basically being a user, which isn't the pleasant part of me, and I apologize to anyone and everyone, you know, that was part of that. When I met my wife, I had 7 girlfriends.
Right.
I met her and dropped everybody and went, this is the one. Now I was a police officer and working for the county sheriff department, and she said, you got a choice. You can be married or you can be a cop. I can't take being married to a cop. So I left and did something really safe, climbing utility poles in thunderstorms, something nice and safe.
Yeah, something nice and safe. Yeah.
But getting back to where kids are right now, things change. Everything changes, especially if you're in school. When school ends, I can't emphasize enough, all that crap stops. It's over. Look right now to build your future. I don't care where you are in life. If you're in junior high, if you're in your 40s or even 50s, wherever you are in life right now, you can start making little improvements. Every single day matters. Live every single day like it's your only day, like it's your last day. I don't mean put yourself out there to get in trouble. I don't mean put yourself out there to get hurt. I'm not talking about stupid stuff. I don't want to see you on an episode of Jackass and then find out that you won a Darwin Award. And if you don't know what a Darwin Award is, look it up. You know, I don't want to see that. You can make a difference if you put a little money aside. It's some little things. I'm going to pick on the tech behind the camera. And guys, I love techs. I'm a tech. God bless y'all for all your work and everybody out there. If you quit smoking, how much money will that save you?
Right.
If you put that little bit of money away, what will that do for you?
Sure.
If you play the stock market a little bit, just with play money, well, you may win, you may lose. Honestly, if you do a little research, it's better than the lottery.
Right.
Blue chip stocks, they make money for you. You know, if you look at that, find a hobby, find a club. There's a book of clubs that you can look at in the library that gives all these different clubs. You will find something. Now, one of the things that happened when I was 10 years old was who my sister, not when I was, well, let's see. Yeah, I was 10 years old, and it was 1974. Lord, so I was 14, I think, at the time. Who my sister got married to, he got into this game called Dungeons & Dragons.
Oh yeah, I used to play it all the time.
I played it from 1-0 all the way up, and that honestly kept me and my friends out of trouble.
Yeah.
We'd be in the basement playing instead of out where everybody else was getting in trouble and crash stuff like that.
Sure.
Yeah, everybody thought I was a great kid because I would shovel snow and make these mounds, you know, and so like this. Well, we were opening up my basement window and shoving beers
into the
snow pile, closing it up.
That's hilarious.
Mom learned about that about 10 years ago, and she's like, what? So, so we would do that. I still play today. My wife plays with me. We have, you know, a little foursome that her sister and husband, you know, the 4 of us, we still play. And it's a social thing. It used to be just hack and slash. Now it's a social thing. Get into games. My wife and I met to play Diablo 3 together, you know, and I met this game. Games can bring people together.
Yeah.
Find a game that you like and get into that. Find a place that games. Like I say, find a club. Find people. Don't be alone. Don't be by yourself. There are people that are like-minded like you. There are people having the same exact problems you are. Talk to people. When you see something happening, you see a kid shoved into a locker, say something. Get other kids around you. Are we going to put up with this shit from this guy? Stop it. People will rally behind you if you just get vocal. People will help you if you just ask. About the game bringing people together, I linked up with a guy. I had no idea who he was. It turns out that he was an ops. He used my equipment in Desert Storm, and he eventually married a woman that he was working with in ops, and they used my equipment that I designed and put in ops that he said literally saved their life.
That's rad.
Met him on a game.
Yeah.
And now we're fast friends, and you know who you are, LHR. So these things matter. When don't go out to get in trouble. Go out to make a positive difference. Go out to have fun.
Exactly.
And you don't have to have money to have fun. That's the other misconception. I didn't have new shoes. I didn't have, shoes that weren't tore up. I didn't have new clothes. Wasn't wearing my sister's dresses, but it doesn't matter how you get it, where you get it. I didn't know that when you left high school and you got out on your own, welfare was available. Welfare's available to a college kid that can't afford college. Pell Grants, other grants that are out there. Grants are something you don't have to pay back. You can qualify, especially if you're on your own.
Yeah.
If you're living with a parent, their income screws you out of that.
Yeah.
You can get on welfare and get some food to where you can continue to go to school and get your career going and then get off of it. It's there to be utilized, not there to be used. It's there to be utilized. I didn't know that. Learn about these things. I want people out of their current situation if they're having trouble, because again, it doesn't last, but you have to do something.
Exactly.
You have to do something. Jesus will not reach down for you. It shows in the Bible that the blind man, he lifted his hand to Jesus. You've got to lift your hand to be helped. You have to ask for help. And whether it's to a higher power, whether you find the Lord, whether it's to another person, a group, raise your hand. Get that helium hand thing that keeps getting me in trouble.
Right.
Would anybody like to volunteer for,
on that note, I think that's actually a really great place to close it down, because the raising of the hand and the reaching out for help, even in the social media community, even on our Love America Twitter feed or on mine, reach out. You guys can DM each other your actual phone numbers if you feel comfortable doing that, and get into communication with each other. Only by doing this, what we're doing right now, can we break this trend of divisiveness. And I just want to thank you so much for all the words of wisdom. I got more than you can imagine out of this conversation, and I just really hope that everybody out there has gotten as much as I have. And keep following Love America Tour for a lot more of this kind of magical wisdom. Thanks, brother.
I can't wait to learn from you. God bless you. I can't wait to see what you do in the world. LHR.
LHR. All right, man. Thank you so much again, brother.
Thank you. Again, for all your work and what you're doing
and your honesty about your life. I got to tell you, really, I hope it sets a tone that that people are willing to talk about those parts of their lives that are difficult to talk about, because it's when we overcome those difficult moments that I think that other people can learn a lot from them. So thanks again, brother.
You bet. Thank you. Don't stop. Don't stop. Don't you stop.
That's right.
LHR.
Awesome.